I still can't believe I witnessed the complete meltdown of Charlene Peton, our neighborhood's most notorious HOA vice president, at the McDonald's on Elm Street last Tuesday. She launched a Filet-O-Fish at the cashier like it was a war crime, shrieked, "How dare you call me senior," and hurled a tray of ketchup packets into the soda machine. The cause of this chaos? A 10% senior discount automatically applied by the register, the insult being mistaken for 55 plus. She tried to leap over the counter, yelling, "I demand youth," but slipped on a spilled high C and landed in the nugget bin. The cops were already en route. Let me properly introduce Charlene Peton, 62 years old, though she swears she's 48, HOA Vice President of Pine Valley Estates, former beauty pageant contestant who won Miss Tupperware 1984, and full-time wearer of yoga capris. She's known throughout our subdivision for writing anonymous complaints in glitter pens and insisting she still gets carded for wine at the grocery store. I've been her neighbor for 3 years and have received 17 citations for various infractions, including, mailbox lacks seasonal flair, and, driveway appears too masculine. That fateful Tuesday, Charlene had stopped by our local McDonald's after her Zumba Pilates fusion class, still glistening with what she calls anti-aging mist, but what looks suspiciously like drugstore body spray. She ordered a McChicken, Diet Coke, and 1 apple pie for what she called her youthful soul. The cashier, a sweet 17-year-old named Ashley, cheerily mentioned, "Your senior discount applied automatically." I was standing behind Charlene in line and watched her entire body go rigid. "Big mistake, Ashley. Big mistake." Charlene's pupils dilated like a raccoon spotting an open garbage bag. She hissed, "Do I look like I need a discount?" With such venom that the family at the next register backed away slowly. The manager, a patient man named Gerald, came over and calmly explained it was just a register setting based on certain purchase patterns. Charlene accused him of systemic ageism and screamed, "Is this because I still wear bootcut jeans?" which seemed like a non sequitur, but apparently made perfect sense in her mind. She began interrogating nearby customers with increasing hysteria. "Do you think I look 55? She demanded of a confused man holding a Happy Meal for his toddler. "Would you guess 40 if you didn't know me?" she asked a teenager who was clearly just trying to eat his Big Mac in peace. "I exfoliate with imported volcanic ash," she announced to the entire restaurant, as if this was relevant evidence in her defense. Then, in what I can only describe as a power move gone horribly wrong, she pulled out her HOA business cards and tried to issue a citation to poor Ashley for emotional defamation. Gerald, the manager, maintained his composure and politely asked her to leave. She refused, declaring McDonald's a public court of image and perception, whatever that means. In a move that surprised everyone, including herself, she scrambled into the play place and locked herself in the tube slide. From inside the yellow plastic tunnel, she began live streaming on her phone, her muffled voice yelling, "I am trapped in a discount prison," while her knees were clearly visible sticking out of the slide entrance. Parents were pulling their children away from the play area as Charlene continued her bizarre protest. The police were called, and Officer Ramirez arrived with the patience of a saint. He approached the tube slide and asked her to exit voluntarily. She responded, "Not until I get a full apology and a Happy Meal with proof of youth," which, even by Charlene's standards, was impressively unhinged. When Officer Ramirez explained that he would have to remove her if she didn't comply, she army crawled deeper into the tube system. Then, in what would become the most viral moment of the incident, she managed to reach through one of the bubble windows and slap a grimace statue, knocking its head clean off. The extraction process was neither quick nor dignified. Officer Ramirez and his partner had to partially dismantle the tube slide while Charlene live-streamed the entire ordeal, claiming police brutality against the aesthetically youthful. She was gently pulled out feet first, her designer knockoff sunglasses askew and her anti-aging mist thoroughly smudged, as they cuffed her outside next to the drive-through speaker. Parents filmed on their phones, and teenagers cheered. A toddler, with the brutal honesty only children possess, shouted, "Old lady go boom," which sent Charlene into fresh hysterics. "I am an HOA officer," she screamed at Officer Ramirez, who replied with professional calm, "That's not a government position, ma'am." Her live-streamed video was already going viral under the hashtag #SeniorSlam@Mickey's. As they placed her in the patrol car, she was still insisting that she had been the victim of a corporate conspiracy to age-shame active lifestyle enthusiasts. The Filet-O-Fish she had weaponized was being photographed as evidence, its tartar sauce smeared across the cash register like abstract art. Charlene was charged with disorderly conduct, disturbing the peace, and 1 count of sandwich-based assault, which I didn't even know was a real charge until that day. Her bond was set at $500, which she paid while insisting the judge looked older than her, despite him being obviously in his 30s. The HOA board held an emergency meeting that very evening, and I had the pleasure of attending. They issued a formal apology to McDonald's and removed her from her role, citing optics conflict with our mulch initiative, which was corporate speak for complete embarrassment. But wait, the story gets even better. At her arraignment, Charlene showed up wearing what she called her courtroom power suit, which was actually a hot pink velour tracksuit with ageless, bedazzled across the back. She brought a folder of what she claimed was evidence of her youthfulness, including gym selfies, receipts for collagen supplements, and a letter from her Botox technician. The prosecutor, a no-nonsense woman named Barbara Sullivan, looked at these exhibits with the expression of someone who had seen too much. During the proceedings, Charlene interrupted the judge 4 times to clarify that she was not, in fact, a senior citizen, and that this whole incident was based on a technological error that failed to recognize her youthful aura. She actually used the phrase youthful aura in a court of law. The judge, who had clearly dealt with his share of difficult defendants, asked her to please respect the courtroom procedures. She responded by doing a small pirouette to demonstrate her flexibility, nearly knocking over the court reporter's water glass. The McDonald's Corporation sent a representative who testified about the damage to their property, including the broken Grimace statue, which apparently cost $800 to replace. They also presented security footage that showed Charlene attempting to climb through the drive-through window while screaming, "I demand to speak to Ronald McDonald himself." The entire courtroom watched in stunned silence as the footage showed her getting stuck halfway through, her designer handbag dangling from one arm while she flailed dramatically. Her own lawyer, a public defender named Thomas Chen, who looked like he deeply regretted his career choices, tried to argue for leniency based on what he called a momentary lapse in judgment brought on by societal pressure regarding aging. Charlene undermined his efforts by standing up and announcing that she had been practicing facial yoga for 17 years and therefore couldn't possibly be mistaken for someone over 55. The judge had to bang his gavel 3 times to restore order. When it came time for sentencing, the judge delivered a measured speech about the importance of maintaining composure in public spaces and respecting service workers. Charlene appeared to be taking notes, but the bailiff later told me she was actually writing, "I am youthful," over and over again in purple ink. The judge sentenced her to 30 days of community service, specifically at a local senior center, which caused Charlene to gasp so loudly that someone in the gallery thought she was having a medical emergency. "Your Honor, that's cruel and unusual punishment," she shrieked, clutching her knockoff designer pearls. The judge calmly explained that working with seniors might give her some perspective on aging gracefully. She countered by insisting that she couldn't possibly relate to those people, because she still shops in the junior section at Target. The judge, showing remarkable restraint, simply continued with the sentencing. In addition to the community service, she was fined $1,000 plus court costs, ordered to write a formal apology letter to the McDonald's staff, and banned from all McDonald's locations in the county for life. The lifetime ban seemed to hit her the hardest. "But where will I get my morning coffee?" she wailed, apparently forgetting that literally dozens of other establishments serve coffee. The judge suggested she might try the senior center, which offers free coffee to volunteers, causing her to make a sound I can only describe as a wounded peacock. The best part? A McDonald's employee with a sense of humor created the Charlene special as a secret menu item, a Filet-O-Fish with extra salt, served with a tiny apology card that says, "Sorry for your youth." The video of her meltdown has been viewed over 3 million times, with someone even creating a remix set to dance music. Her HOA position was immediately filled by a retired accountant named Robert, who promised his first act would be to reduce the number of monthly meetings from 12 to 2. When the judge delivered the final verdict and banged his gavel, Charlene stood up, pointed dramatically at the courtroom ceiling, and declared, "History will vindicate my youth," before fainting dead away onto her lawyer's briefcase. The bailiff rushed over as she lay on the floor, and her final words before they carried her out on a stretcher were, "Tell them I'm 39."